everyone, how are we today? Just doing a bit of an all signs reading there today. We have just had the new moon, so I thought we would sort of have a bit of a look and see, what's sort of new for everybody and um, how I'm sort of wanting to look a little bit more at how should we be proceeding. Okay, so I'm going to be asking today, what's the next action we should take. Okay, so I do like to a lot of the time split my readings up into like the energy and then the actions, but today we're going to just be looking at actions, and we're going to be sort of looking into that future energy, a bit of advice there for us. So what is our next action? What should our next actions be there? Okay, because the new moon, sometimes for some people it can be a sort of diverse sort of energy where you may be feeling a little bit like, what do I do? What do I do? And I was seeing a few of the signs coming through in the weekly readings, with an element of some sort of confusion about where to go next. So I did sort of want to, hopefully get some advice for you guys for what next actions we should be taking, okay? Now, today I will be using the Earthbound Oracle deck to start everyone off, and then I will be following that up with the Scrying Ink Lenormand deck there. I will let everyone know. Leave a comment so that you can go in the draw for that free personal reading. Everyone that comments will go in the draw, and obviously subscribe so you can make sure you're kept updated as well. I will be taking timestamps, so if you see me doing that, that's what's happening. But I'll get started with Aries. How are we today, Aries? Today we're looking at what next action should we take. So this is going to cover all different areas. It's sort of whatever comes out. We'll have a look and see what action should Aries be taking next. What should Aries do next? I'll grab two oracles today for you there, Aries. And we'll grab you some of the Lenormand as well. Okay, and I'm just going to grab a clarity for that fourth card that's come through. Can I please get clarity for that fourth card? Okay. Okay, Aries. Well, we are definitely seeing some positive things coming for you in the near future. Obviously, if you do sort of take some action, we are seeing the need to sort of take some action here. We are seeing the achievement card. As we can see, it is the mountain represented here, and then some little crystals at the top. So it's like putting in all that hard work, you're finally reaching the precipice of this mountain. You're finally reaching that zone of achievement. So your next actions should be to make sure we are, we have put in that hard work, and that we are sort of ready to look on out and see all the different pathways opening up to us next. We are also seeing the abundance card coming through for you. So like I said, definitely seeing some new positive actions coming in for you there. So achievement and abundance. Okay, so focusing on achievements within the realms that you do want to make achievements, and abundance. So definitely heading into that abundance. And I do feel as well that we would be sort of looking at your next actions, taking abundant action, and that will really steer you in the right direction, Aries. We do have the ship card, followed by the masculine energy there. So the ship card really does talk about starting a new journey. Okay, so as an action, it's definitely talking about starting a new journey, closing the distance, you know, maybe traveling toward the things that you do want. Okay. Now I do have the masculine energy there. Now, for some reason, I am picking that up as you today, Aries, in that very sort of masculine energy. The masculine energy does talk about thinking things through logically. Okay, so with that coming through, I would be sort of saying that we are traveling towards some sort of more logical type thinking at this current time, which is followed by the stars card there. So that kind of lets me know the stars is all about wishes and wish fulfillment. So it's kind of talking about logically thinking through what do you wish for your future, okay, and taking the next steps, traveling towards that in a logical manner. You know, if there's a certain wish that you want fulfilled, you know, taking it back to those basics, and you know, if this is the end goal up here, listing all the steps that would be needed to sort of get to that end goal, and then, you know, taking that very first step, starting that journey, okay. You know, because like we see with that logic, like that's the sort of logical manner to get to a goal, is to sort of think it through completely to its fulfillment. You know, I find personally to work from that fulfillment goal and then work your way backwards. In order for this to be achieved, I need this and this and this and this to be achieved first. You know, like I said, we are talking about achievements here. So taking those first steps on that journey to those wishes that you do have there, Aries. And then that was rounded out with that bear energy, which was followed by the stork energy. Okay, so I do remember that we did see that bear energy coming through for you quite heavy in your weekly reading, Aries, but this time it is followed by that stork. Okay, so it's really, really talking about stirring up that power within you, and sort of heading into new directions, stirring up those new possibilities for yourself. The stork really does stir up new energies, and that bear there, standing in your own power, staying strong, Aries, strong and powerful. So once again, that is quite representative of that masculine energy as well. So, you know, as I do recall, we did see that bear energy being a little bit in closing when it was in your weekly reading there, when it come to love aspects, but this particular bear, especially here with this stork energy, it's all about standing strong, standing up tall, and reaching those wishes, and you know, protecting those wishes rather than protecting yourself too much. Not rather than being overprotective, being that perfect logical amount of protective when you do start this journey. But definitely, I just keep getting over and over again, standing tall, standing firm in what it is that you're wishing for, and really stirring up some new changes for yourself there, Aries. So definitely headed into an interesting time frame for you guys there. So let me know, you know, what's going on with all the Aries. But we'll move over to Taurus. How are we today, Taurus? Today we're just looking at what's the next actions you should be taking. What are the next actions for Taurus to be taking, please? Next actions for Taurus. Okay, so I'll grab some lenormand for you there as well. Taurus, what next actions should Taurus be taking, please? Okay, so it's a relatively clear message here, Taurus. It is. I feel like we did have a bit of a harder energy with your weekly reading this week, so I'm sorry, obviously for that being quite a confronting reading this week, and we are sort of seeing that is the energy that we're coming from when it comes to the next actions you need to take. We do have the toxic card there, which is followed by that resistance card. So still a little bit of a resistance to, you know, those toxic things that have happened in the past there. I feel like we're still sort of resisting that change a little bit, trying to just weather that storm rather than make active changes when it comes to those things that from our past that may have been toxic to us, or behaviors that we may have been slightly toxic to others. Okay, so really needing to look at that at the moment, Taurus. Obviously we did go over that in the weekly readings there when it came to love connections, but we're still just seeing a little bit of resistance in your sort of current energy there, Taurus. But what we are sort of seeing as sort of your advice, we do have the stars, which was followed by the rider, and then we have the Tower card as well. Okay, so the stars are all about wishes and hopes and your dreams. Okay, so it's a huge card of optimism. Okay, so rather than focusing on these things that you feel from the past are toxic to you, or from you, or whatever, focusing on what you want your wishes to be, what you want your hopes and aspirations to be, how you want to change that toxic stuff from the past and have these brand new wishes sort of being fulfilled for you. When it comes to, something that you may have wanted in the past and became toxic, how do we actually go about getting that wish in a positive way? How exactly do we want that wish to come true, but in the positive sense? Thinking about all the positive aspects of our wishes and dreams. Okay, and then I am seeing, doing what's needed to make them happen. The writer does come through with good news. Okay, so I feel like this is you, Taurus, headed on into the future with these wishes in your hand, and what it's sort of telling us here as an action is to start building stronger foundations. Okay, so head on into the future with those wishes in your hand, keeping those wishes the things that you do truly wish for, heavy in your mind, in a very positive, hopeful, optimistic kind of way, and using those as the sort of framework for laying new foundations in different areas of your life. The Tower really does talk about new foundations, building strong foundations so you can build that tower high into the sky, okay, and reach the stars, so to speak. But there also is a little bit of an element with the Tower of Solitude as well, okay, so making sure we are taking time to ourselves to really think about what it is that we do truly wish for as well. So, but headed into the future energy there, Taurus, that does look really, really lovely for you. And like I said, it's really thinking and having that optimism and thinking positive about those things that you do truly wish for, and just making sure we are ridding ourselves of any toxicity that surrounds us in any kind of way, in order to build those foundations stronger than they may have been built in the past. Okay, all right, so we'll move on to Gemini. How are we, Gemini? Just looking today at what should your next actions be? What should Gemini's next actions be, please? Ooh. What should Gemini's next actions be, please? Okay, and I'll just grab one more. Okay, so Gemini, we do have for you the permanence card there. So that's all about, your next actions, making things permanent in your life, not accepting things that are only just good for here and now, really thinking about the longevity of things and the permanent aspect, how those things are going to fit into your life in a permanent manner, and any positive changes coming into your life, holding on to those so that they do stick around rather than fleeting back away. Then we do have the message card. So that's why I drew a second one, because that one can be a little bit, it's a very quick sort of message, that one. It does sort of just let us know that communication is quite important when it comes to your next actions. Okay, so there may be somebody in particular you need to speak to, communicate with, especially when it comes to this permanence stuff. So if there is somebody in your life who you feel is, a bit of a loose cannon and they're sort of ready to dash on you, talking and communicating with them about how you do want them to be long-term in your life. Okay, so, and I'm also seeing the sleep card there. Okay, so very important for you at the moment. Your next action needs to be some sleep, Gemini. I don't know how things have been looking for you in your particular life, but it's just reminding us that, rest is sometimes just as important as action. All right, so needing to, talk things through when it comes to, permanence in your life, but also making sure we're giving ourselves plenty of rest and time to ourselves to sleep, like just get some sleep, Gemini. If you're someone like me who runs on zero sleep majority of the time, it's probably well overdue for a nap. Okay, guys? No, like everyone should support naps. Go for a siesta, guys. But we'll see what the Lenormand says for you here, Gemini. If I can't get a nap, you guys better have one for me. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more information about that communication that's necessary in the near future for you there, Gemini. It does appear to be like straight away we've got the letter once again, so it's very similar. The letter and that message oracle card are pretty much the exact same card. Okay, that was followed up by the ring and then the moon. So that sort of leads me to believe that this communication, it is some sort of emotional communication to do with a relationship. It's not necessarily a love relationship, although with that such a high level of emotion, it very well could be for a lot of you. But it's some sort of close relationship in your life that brings around a lot of emotion for you, probably both negative and positive. I am getting a bit of a vibe that it could go either way. It's going to be different for every Gemini, I feel here. But really needing to talk things out with that person at the moment. Sit down and have a good conversation with that person at the moment. I feel like you guys are probably going to know exactly who it is in your life that you do need to have a bit of a chat to around issues of permanence in your life. Okay, so with that letter, once again, that's text messages, phone calls, talking online, all those sorts of things. I am seeing that it's definitely somebody who's already in your life, somebody that you already have a strong relationship with. But then also that moon card, follow your intuition with it, guys, and talk to that person. Make sure you're following your intuition with the way that you're holding this communication with that person. I also want to show you the bouquet did come out to finalize that out as well. So the bouquet is all about giving, okay, as well as receiving. So it is when you are having this conversation, it's all about giving this person a piece of yourself, giving them a little bit of your emotional vulnerability, if that's what you'd want to receive in return. So it's really that sort of equal give and take. So really allowing the person to speak their bit as well as you speak yours. Okay, so I feel like that's a pretty closed in message for us there, Gemini. But that's the next actions that you're being sort of advised to take. Okay, so let me know in the comments if you already know what that conversation needs to be, because it is now time to have it. Okay, well, moving on to Cancer. How are we, Cancer? I'm just looking today at what should your next action be. Okay, so this is going to be different for everybody. It is a collective. You guys are probably going to have an idea of the question that you want to know what should my action be in. But we'll have a look and see what comes out for you today. Cancer, what should Cancer's next actions be, please? What should Cancer's next actions be? Oh, that's a beautiful message straight away, Cancer. We have the creativity card. Okay, so get your creativity on. Draw, paint. Creativity comes in so many different ways. It's obviously not just artistic creativity. It's just having that creative sense of mind, okay, and thinking of things in new ways. Okay, so your next actions are going to be involving a lot of creativity. So, for example, if this was a work question, that you have in mind, Cancer. It's sort of talking about thinking outside outside the box to solve that problem or issue, whatever it may be. You know, the next actions that you need to take with whatever it is you're working on. You know, just think outside the box a little bit. Be creative. Answer that to yourself in a different way to what you may normally do. We are then seeing that voice card. Look at that beautiful wolf having a howl. So don't forget your voice, Cancer. Don't let anyone overshadow your voice at the moment. Your voice is quite important at the moment, and it may actually be helping quite a lot of people without you even being aware of it, especially that creative voice in the back of your mind saying, try it this way. How about we just do something weird and do it like this today? Listen to that voice inside you there, Cancer, telling you to, you know, go out on a limb and try something new. Definitely listening to that voice at the moment. But also I do feel as though that's more talking about not letting your voice sort of blend out in the background, you know, talking out, speaking up for yourself and making sure we are letting our voice be heard. Okay, so Cancer, what next actions should Cancer take, please? Okay, so for some of you Cancers, you may actually be involved with the Gemini, and the Gemini is going to be coming and giving a conversation with you. I just saw the opposite side of what I'm seeing here come through for Gemini. But I'll get into it there. The dog card, which is followed by the male energy, the masculine energy, and then we do have the ring and the letter. Okay, and so what I meant with the Gemini thing was Gemini did get the letter and then the ring, so it was the backwards other side of the story sort of feel with that there. So if you do have some Geminis that are, you know, close to you in your life, you know, maybe expecting some communication with them, but we do have here the dog and then the male energy. Okay, so I don't normally like to genderize this, you know, the masculine and feminine energy, but I am feeling as though this is somebody within your friends group. The dog is all about friendship, okay, and it could be, you know, with the ring on the other side of that there too. It definitely could be somebody who is a little bit more than a friend, but you know, the friendship is coming through strong. That friends connection is coming through strongly. Okay, and there is quite a masculine element coming through with this person. So they may be an actual male figure in your life, a male friend, but I am feeling that, you know, they it could go either way. They definitely could be a female just with showing these masculine traits, you know, being that they might be a very sort of domineering type personality. They may be somebody who's sort of not letting those emotions show. They're coming from a very sort of logical place rather than an emotional place when it comes to this friendship with you. But I am definitely seeing, you know, after that there is some communication coming through. Okay, so the letter there is all about communication. It does feel as though it's incoming communication. So your sort of next actions are going to be dealing with this communication, I suppose, you know. So being aware of this communication and actually like engaging in this communication. So the letter can be, you know, text messages, online talking, those sort of things. But I am really feeling that with the ring there, it is going to be some sort of important communication that you are going to need to engage in. But like we saw with that voice card, do not lose your voice. Okay, make sure you're being heard as well in this communication. Okay, so that's what we're kind of seeing for you today. Like I said, it could be somebody who is a Gemini, as I did see that in their particular reading, but it's not necessarily. It could be a totally different situation. Maybe there's just a lot of people having conversations at this current time, or you yourself may have strong Gemini placements or something like that as well. Okay. But oh, and we also are moving into Gemini season very, very soon too. So it may just be, you know, wait a few days and then Gemini season starts. So that might be more of a time frame thing as well. Okay, so just thought I'd add that in there since it just sort of popped into my mind as well. But moving on to Leo. How are we today, Leo? Just looking today at the next actions you should be taking. Next actions Leo needs to take, please. Next actions for Leo. Okay, and one more for next actions for Leo, please. Okay, I'm going to grab your lenormand as well. Next actions for Leo, please. Next actions for Leo. Okay, Leo, I'm kind of getting the vibe here that your next actions are super dependent on yourself. We do have here, with the oracles, we have the resistance card followed by the healing card. So immediately we do kind of feel that we're in a bit of a period of resisting some sort of healing that needs to happen before we can sort of take actions and move forward. So we need, I would say, as an action to stop resisting and start healing. So there is something going on for you there, Leo, in the background that you have probably resisted this for quite a while, but there is something that we are still needing to heal from, which is kind of, it is, I'll go through that with the Lenormand as well, but we do have another oracle here, which is voice card. Okay, so that's really all about making sure you're heard, making sure your voice is not sort of swept off into the distance there. Standing up for yourself and making sure you are heard, which is super coming like super supported by this bear card there, because the bear card really does talk about standing strong, standing firm, standing in your power. Okay, so once again, I really feel is that stand strong and do not let your voice be swallowed up. Stand strong and make your voice heard. Okay, the bear is super protective of themselves, and you need to be a little bit like that at the moment, while we're just dealing with some background healing. I feel I don't feel as though that healing is anything super tragic or anything like that. It is just a bit of a lull period for you at the moment, Leo, that I'm feeling that we're just sort of in that down dip where we're just sort of chilling and needing to just work on some background stuff at the moment for ourselves, especially with that anchor card coming through. So the anchor really does talk about sort of staying put. So, the anchor is what they put down so the ship doesn't sort of float away. So I do really feel as though that's you guys at the moment, just needing to sort of, hold fast at the bottom of the ocean, so that the current doesn't drag the boat away on you, and just sort of taking things as they come, going with the flow a little bit at the moment, just taking some time to yourself, I would say as well. Just stand firm in yourself at the moment, and sort of just sort of working on any things that you may have resisted dealing with from the past, those sorts of things at the moment. Okay, because then we do have the coffin card, which was followed by the snake card, kind of confirmed with that snake card there. So the coffin card is all about death and rebirth, things needing to end. And I think what has needed to end for you, or has ended for you, before you can actually sort of move into any new actions, any new phases there, Leo, we are just sort of having to have a bit of a look at this snake energy. So that may be what that healing is all about, is this snake energy here, resisting temptations, and sorting through some past deceptions. These, I will say, this may be self-deceptive behavior. With some of the other cards I'm seeing in that resistance card, you may have deceived yourself into thinking you're fully healed from something where you are kind of not. So really needing to sort of look at that energy at this time, close out that chapter so that we can sort of get started on the upswing and go back into a cycle where we are getting that new energy coming back through for us and able to take some more positive actions. Just needing to deal out with some lingering energy there, Leo. Okay, so like I said, though, it does just feel like under the surface kind of energy. It doesn't really feel like anything, hugely dramatic or anything like that. But, sometimes we do have these lull points in our energy that do give us the opportunity to sort of, deal with things that we may not have dealt with quite yet. We may have been, putting it off, resisting that change for a little while there, is what I'm kind of feeling with that there, Leo. Okay, so moving on to Virgo. How are we, Virgo? I'm just looking today at the next action you should take, Virgo. What is the next action Virgo should take, please? Next actions for Virgo. Okay, and one more for Virgo, please. Okay, and I'll grab your lenormand for you there. Next actions Virgo should take, please. What are the next actions Virgo should take? Okay, and one more to clarify. Okay, so Virgo, I'm feeling that your next actions are sort of rooted in, some deep thought. That clarity card I pulled was the clouds there. So that does talk about, thinking. It's the thoughts card. Okay. So it really does talk about deep thinking and, it can sometimes be anxieties and overthinking, but I feel as though that's kind of what is needed here at the moment, Virgo. With the oracles there, we do have the bond card, okay, but that is actually followed up by the deceit and then the toxic card, okay. So I feel as though this is what we need to sort of look at. We need to look at past bonds. In our in our past connections, we need to look at deceit and toxic behaviors as an issue. So, we need to have a bit of a closer look at those subjects within the bonds that we do have with people, the bonds that we have had with people in the past. Okay, so really sort of needing to have a bit of a look there at some past connections. I feel as though it's probably to do with past connections. I feel like a similar message was coming up in your weekly reading as well about a past person being a little bit, in that deceitful, toxic kind of energy. So I really am sort of feeling that that we're needing to have a look at that and really being honest with ourselves about, if you were deceitful in any way, if you were toxic in any way, or how you responded to deceit or toxic behavior in the past as well. Okay, but just having to have a bit of a deeper think about those issues in past connections and how they may have affected you as well. We are seeing the Lenormand, the whip card, the lily card, and then the fish card. Okay, so that it may also be talking about your bond with money as well with that fish card there. So maybe a little bit of toxic behavior, overspending kind of a vibe. For some of you Virgos there, that may be what the issues we're needing to look at are, involving money rather than actual people. It may be looking at your bonds with financial stuff and the way that we're spending money, being deceitful to ourselves when it comes to spending money, and those kinds of issues. But for majority of you, this is probably going to be relationships, okay? We are seeing that whip card, which does talk about troubles and tensions and drama that has sort of occurred there. And that's sort of followed up by that lily card there. So the lily card is quite an interesting blend here. That's why I thought it important to mention the financial side of things, because that can be a career card with the fish right next to it. We can be looking at, trouble in our career, and looking at ways that we may have been deceitful or toxic when it comes to career and money kind of stuff, all right? But like I said, for majority of you, this might be thinking more about relationship stuff, because, you know, the lily also does talk about intimacy and like that emotional intimacy with yourself, with others, okay, that you have had bonds with. You know, we are usually looking at things that are going to be affecting us long term. So for you guys, if this is a relationship stuff, for you in particular, just be aware that if you don't sort of deal with these things now and have a bit of a closer look, those behaviors may actually be repeating themselves long term for you, and then start affecting your financial state, that you're spending and things like that somehow as well. Okay, so um, kind of a bit of a mixed bag for you guys, Virgo, but with the lily, it is such a soft, sort of intimate card. It really does talk about, you know, really sort of being intimate with yourself, being emotionally vulnerable with yourself about these issues, and really sort of, like I said, with the clouds, really thinking things through in a logical manner as well. So um, that's sort of what we've got for you there as your next actions, Virgos. So, you know, as actions, it's sort of to tell you just to think about things, I suppose, and to really have a bit of a think about some things, because they may be holding you back from taking, you know, like inspired action and actions in the right direction. Okay, so if you don't sort of look at these issues, we may be seeing your next actions sort of going into the wrong directions, following that path of deceit a little bit more than what you want it to. Okay, so just a bit of advice for you there, I suppose, Virgo. But we'll move over to Libra. How are we today, Libra? Just having a look today at your next actions. What are the next actions Libra should be taking, please? Next actions for Libra. Okay, pretty straightforward message I've got there with the oracles. So I'll grab you some lenormand as well, Libra. Libra, what next actions should Libra be taking, please? Next actions for Libra. Okay, so like I said, we do have a pretty straightforward message with the oracles there. Firstly, we have the release card, followed by the fear card, and then the growth card. Okay, so we're quite clearly seeing that we do need to release some fears, you know, in the near future if we want to start growing and moving on forward. Okay, so that your next action sort of needing to be starting to think about those fears and release those. Okay, because you know, my personal belief, you know, rather than good versus evil, I have always sort of thought of it as love versus fear. Okay, so all those things that we would consider evil or bad, they're sort of rooted in fear. Okay, so really sort of looking at what those fears of yours are, and then sort of releasing that fear so that we can move into that growth. So like I said, a pretty simple oracle message for you there, Libra. We do have the bouquet, the dog, and then the house energy there, with the lenormand. So once again, pretty straightforward for you guys there, Libra. The bouquet is all about that giving and receiving, that equal sort of give and take energy. You know, it with the dog there as well. It's kind of talking about friendships, giving to your friendships, giving to the things that you're loyal to. Okay, so really giving a little bit more to those connections that you are quite loyal to, that you do receive loyalty from, giving to those connections at this time. You know, when we are releasing fears and that kind of a thing, it always is lovely to have a bit of extra support here with your friends, and that sort of thing as well. Okay, but what we're also seeing is that house energy. So that is quite a stable sort of energy. That's all about your stability and your security as well. Okay, so those fears might be, you know, rooted in things that are, you know, stability based, you know, how you feel safe and secure in this world. It may also be talking about family connections as well, with that that dog and the house together. It could be talking about, you know, a family member that you do consider quite close on a friendship level as well, and really relying on those people at the moment to help give you that support and stability as well. Okay, so I really feel as though it's sort of, you know, releasing all fears, as well as, you know, giving a bit of your own, you know, energy and giving to some relationships in your life at the moment as well. And then you'll be able to sort of get that self growth and get some growth happening in your life in general as well, because, you know, when it comes to next actions, growth is kind of an odd one. You can't force growth, but it gave us the framework right there, on how to get to that growth, you know, that release fear to get to that growth. So pretty straightforward for you guys there, Libra. But I'll move over to Scorpio. And is it you, Scorpio, that is sending this song to my brain? It is on a loop. Everywhere I go, I hear this song. It's that, it's called Take On Me by the Ahas. It's a super old song. But I hear it everywhere I go. I've been wondering for a while who am I connecting to that keeps sending me this song. But it's just started playing as I've swapped over to you guys there, Scorpio. So I thought I'd ask. So if you're a Scorpio and you know, you've been directly sending me that song, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate some answers of why I keep getting this same song over and over. Okay, so Scorpio, and what is your next actions? Well, and that being said too, even intuitively, before I draw any cards there, this song is about taking chances on people that, you know, before you miss out on that chance. So Scorpio, that may be important for you guys at this time as well. Okay. So Scorpio, what next action should Scorpio take, please? What next actions should Scorpio take, please? Okay, so Scorpio, we do have the permanence card there, followed by the reflect card and the balance card. Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward message. It's like talking about, you know, the things that are permanent in your life and reflecting on those things that, you know, do provide you with that sense of permanence, of belonging, of longevity, those things, reflecting on those things and helping yourself find a bit of extra balance there. So I will say, I did do, when last weekend I did the Mother's Day reading, and it was all about balance. So there may be something for you guys in that message as well. But really looking at finding just a bit more balance, reflecting on the things that do sort of make you feel permanent in this life and this, you know, within connections as well. So Scorpio, what should Scorpio's next actions be, please? And one more just to clarify, please. Okay, so we are seeing there the key first and foremost. Okay, so that does talk about opening brand new doors. You know, it's a very success orientated card. So once you've got that balance and you've reflected on those things that do help you feel quite permanent, your next actions need to be focused on success and opening the doors to new success in your life and connections there, Scorpio. We do have the fox energy as well as that broom energy, and those two straight away are sort of just letting me know that with that broom energy, that's all about sort of sweeping out the old energy, getting rid of that old energy, you know, cleaning house, so to speak. And with that fox energy, I am feeling that fox is somebody around you who is sort of only focused on themselves. Okay, he can be a very little independent creature, and because this particular image there is two foxes there, I feel as though this is somebody around you, and sort of needing to sweep clear that energy of somebody who's only caring about themselves that's around you. Okay, so the fox does have so many different faces. It's hard to sometimes read that one, but that's all I'm getting off that one at the moment. But I feel as though they may be stopping you from true success, because they are sort of only. They may be a very smooth talker. They might come across very cunning and smart, but there's a bit of trickery involved in that. Okay, I do feel as though, you know, they are only thinking about themselves, and that sort of doesn't serve you. So sort of needing to sweep that energy away from you at the moment, Scorpio, and stand in your power. We do have the crown there. Okay, so that's all about, you know, being the king of your own life, being the queen of your own self, you know, standing firm and standing quite, you know, royal, and moving forward in this true sense of power, and knowing that you sort of are the king of the castle, so to speak. Okay, so it's kind of yeah, definitely just talks about, you know, standing strong and having that real regal sense to yourself, because you know you there's a lot of power with that card, and having the key as the first card there, you know, you have all this power within you to bring all this success in for yourself, and it's really standing firm in knowing that at this time as well. Like I said, with that balance card as well, it really is a good reflection of that balance card. You know, once you have sort of found balance within yourself, you do really, you are really able to recognize your own sense of power with the way that you you know, go out into the world. So it's really all about that there, Scorpio, standing firm, wearing that crown nice and high. Okay, sounds beautiful. Okay, so we'll move over to Sagittarius. How are we, Sagittarius? Just looking today at what next actions should we be taking. What next actions should Sagittarius be taking, please? Next actions for Sagittarius. One more. Next actions for Sagittarius. Okay, this straight away, these oracles, I don't feel as though this is going to resonate for every single Sagittarius. So, hang on, I'll grab your lenormand and we'll have a look. Next actions for Sagittarius, please. Next actions for Sagittarius. Okay, so we are getting a semi-similar reading with the lenormand as well, but it is showing me the alternate way to read this for you as well. But there is a couple of Sagittariuses out there that I will, okay, because what I've got here, I've got two different messages coming through from these particular cards, and one of them is a pretty straightforward message. So I will sort of, the first lot of you Sagittarius is, like I said, this first bit's probably not going to resonate for everybody, but for a few of you out there, what we actually are seeing here, we have the life card and then the gift card, followed by perseverance, and that is supported with the bouquet coming through with the lenormand, the garden coming through with the lenormand, and the tower coming through with the lenormand. Okay, because the lenormand is kind of just telling me that with this particular message, that this is something that has been going on a while for a few of you here, when it comes to trying for a child. Okay, so for some of you here who have been trying for a child, if that is you, this is for you. If not, I do have a secondary message here for you guys. Okay, but for some of you, with this life and gift card, some of you are trying to have a child. Okay, and the perseverance card is coming through, so it's letting us know, don't give up. You know, you really will be having some sort of luck with that in the near future. You will be able to create this new life, this new seed. You know, both these images do have the seed image, you know, this new sprout, and then the seeds in the apple, of course, you know, are a common sort of new life kind of seedling kind of vibe as well, being, you know, that gift as well. So, you know, keep trying, okay? If you are one of those ones who is trying to have a child, either you yourself or the, you know, your partner, whatever, keep trying, because I feel as though that's super close for you there, Sagittarius, okay? But like I said, that's not going to be for everybody. Obviously, it is a pretty closed-in message, that one. Not everybody is going to be trying for a child. So I will sort of give the general outlay of this message as well for everybody else. You know, with that life and gift, we are looking at some sort of new life, some sort of gift for your life. Okay, starting the seeds to new possibilities in your life, and making sure we are persevering to sort of bring those into fruition, so that your next actions sort of needing to be, you know, to really concentrate on what seeds are you planting in your life that you do want to grow, okay? Because you are now gifted with the opportunity to, you know, with some perseverance, you are gifted with this opportunity to have those things really starting to sprout for you as well, okay? The garden we do have there, that can be talking about social aspects. So for some of you Sagittarius, this is you know, social stuff. And with the flowers there, it's actually talking about giving to social things. So, you know, I find I'm really, once again, another quite specific message I'm getting here. Some of you are going to be invited somewhere and you need to go. Okay, so but with the social card, it is about meetings, invitations, things like that. So, you know, if meeting up with friends and giving to your friends at the moment is going to really help you receive some really positive energy in return. So even if you're not being invited anywhere specifically, you know, it does sort of suggest getting out and being sociable at this time, really giving to that social sort of energy at this time. And then with the tower there, we do see that that can talk about building stronger foundations within that sort of social aspect, okay? Really sort of, you know, building that tower firm and strong so you can build it super high, okay? So for some of you Sagittarius, we are sort of seeing that, you know, giving to social aspects of your life at the moment is super important for you as well, to help sort of grow these new seeds. We may even be seeing a new friend coming in to your life in the near future, that it's important to sort of take action towards that person and give to that connection, because it's going to be something super important for you guys there as well. So, you know, let me know in the comments which one of those sort of resonated the most for you there. And, you know, I hope that that first message, it was obviously for somebody. So let me know in the comments if that was you guys. And you will go in the draw for that free personal as well. But moving on to Capricorn. Okay, hi there, Capricorn. Sorry about that weird glitch in the video. I just got an important phone call and had to break for a minute there. So just getting back into it for us there. We're doing Capricorn and the next action for Capricorn. What are the next actions Capricorn need to be taking, please? Next actions for Capricorn. Okay, and one more. And I'll grab your lenormand straight away for you there, Capricorn, as well. Next actions for Capricorn. Next actions for Capricorn, please. Wow, throwing them at me today, Capricorn. Next actions for Capricorn. Okay, so Capricorn, quite an interesting spread here when it comes to the next actions you should be sort of taking. Our next action, first and foremost, we're seeing the transformation card. So you can see here, it's that sort of the caterpillar, the cocoon, and the butterfly. So some huge transformation coming in for you at the moment, Capricorn. I do feel, even though we've asked for what actions you should be taking, Capricorn, I do feel as though we're kind of looking at an energy where, maybe we're just talking about your next action being preparing for all this energy coming your way. We do have this huge transformation energy headed to you. And I kind of am seeing with the lenormand as well, that being reiterated with the rider and then the book. So the rider really does talk about, and like I said, these two cards actually flew out at me as well. So the rider is kind of a fast-paced card, brings good news to you. So I feel as though when it comes to your next actions, Capricorn, it's kind of a sit back and just wait for all this stuff to come to you, Capricorn. It's coming in pretty quickly by the vibe there, especially too with that book coming through, because the book really does talk about new chapters in your life. So once again, that transformation, that transformative energy, some new stuff headed your way. The third lenormand I do have there is the letter. So the letter does talk about communication. So we're seeing some incoming stuff headed your way. One of those things being communication of some sort. I will grab a clarity for that communication. Can I just get a card for clarity for that communication headed towards Capricorn, please? Okay, so we do get the garden for clarification. So it might be some sort of invite, proposal, some sort of paperwork possibly coming through as that letter communication there. Since we do have the book and then the letter, and then, the garden can talk about invitations, proposals, important business meetings, important paperwork. I am getting the vibe that that may be some sort of paperwork headed your way that you're going to need to pay good attention to, Capricorn. So the letter does, usually refer to just sort of communication, text, email, phone calls, all that sort of a thing. But with that combination there, I do kind of get the vibe that that is sort of more along the lines of some sort of important paperwork that you're going to have to be sort of viewing over with a fine-tooth comb. But, the garden is quite a social card as well. So this might be some sort of social communication, someone wanting to meet up with you, have an official meeting of some sort, all that sort of stuff with that there. I do also have the oracle of air energy there as well. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius may be somehow important when it comes to this incoming stuff there. But that air energy, it does show the clouds, which the clouds I normally read as thoughts and having to think things through very logically and clearly. So, I would sort of be advising that your next actions, that whatever this communication headed your way, this possible paperwork, invite, that kind of a thing, thinking it through clearly and logically, okay? That is quite important there. But we are also seeing the wealth card as well. So this definitely could be some sort of financial opportunity headed your way, new chapters, transforming your idea of wealth into something new, something brand new headed your way, some sort of new chapter in your life coming into fruition in the near future, and needing to sort of prepare for that, I feel. So if you are aware of what that transformation is already, and you are sort of have some clarity already about what that may be, like I said, it does have that element of the financial aspect there, so it definitely could be something financial related. But like I said, definitely thinking things through clearly with that air energy coming through, not letting yourself get swept away, making sure if we are presented with paperwork, making sure we sort of dot every I, cross every T, read through things quite logically and carefully as well, okay? But that's what we have for you, Capricorn. That was a pretty straightforward message, but it's quite interesting when I'm seeing that sort of a message coming through for your next actions. It's all about, preparing for something to start changing for you. So if you have been waiting for some changes in your life, Capricorn, it looks like they're definitely on the way. Okay, so moving over to Aquarius. How are we, Aquarius? Just looking today at what your next actions should be. So Aquarius, what next actions for Aquarius, please? Next actions for Aquarius. Okay, I had two come out together there, so I'll just grab you one more. Next action for Aquarius, please. Okay, and I'll grab your lenormand as well, Aquarius. Next actions for Aquarius, please. Next action for Aquarius. Okay, so we are seeing there, like I said, I did have two oracle come out together there, which was the sleep and the home cards there. Okay, so feels like your next action should be to get some rest, Aquarius. Go home and get some sleep. That's kind of what it's telling us. So having a bit of a restful period at the moment may actually be super important for you. You maybe have had quite a lot of things going on. So spending some time at home and just resting and looking after your body and your mental state. Quite important at the moment. The house is all about stability and security. So, your house is your little safe little bubble. So it really does talk about sort of reining everything into, just you and your little bubble at the moment. You can see the sleep card there. It's the little animal with, the little, in a little pod, so to speak. So, it really does talk about keeping quite insular at this time and keeping somewhere safe and secure, curled up, having a snooze. So a restful period for you at the moment is kind of what's needed in your actions, making sure we're taking that time for ourselves and also to address anything within the home that you may need to address. Like you may have been having some issues around the home. I'm feeling like it's probably a physical thing. So wanting to make sure we do have our home set up so it is quite a restful place to go home to at the end of the day. So that's kind of what our next actions should be, making our home the most restful place that we possibly can for ourselves, and taking the time to make sure we are resting our body and our mind as well. That was followed by the fire energy. Okay, so the fire energy, that's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, may be somehow important to you. In the near future actions there. But with the fire element, we do see the flame, which does really talk about igniting passions and, igniting that flame within you for the things that you do really feel passionate about, desirous towards. Okay, so, stoking the fires of home, I feel, making sure we do have some things around the house that really do sort of speak of our passions. Okay, I feel that's quite important for you at the moment, Aquarius, to surround yourself with things that bring that passion out in you. Okay, we do have with the Lenormand the garden, followed by the letter. So I did get a similar-ish kind of message for Capricorn. So if you're on the cusp, make sure you check the Capricorn section as well. But what we kind of see here is some sort of communication coming through on a social aspect. Okay, the garden is all about that social places to meet, actual meetings. It could definitely be with that letter card there. The letter card is all about communication, text, phone call, emails, online talking, Zoom calls, all that sort of stuff. I do feel as though there may be some important meeting coming up that you need to attend. When it comes to communication, that sometimes can talk about, like paperwork and those sorts of things coming through as well. But yeah, it's definitely some sort of, I do feel for you, Aquarius, that this is some sort of meeting, some sort of important meeting coming up for you there. It may be with friends, but it may just be referring to the meeting side of the communication being quite important in the near future for you, something that you really do need to action. So if you have been planning to set a meeting with somebody, now is the time to put that into action. All right. And then we are also seeing the female energy there, followed by the bear energy as well. So the female energy, I do feel as though that's just referring to you, Aquarius, regardless of gender. You know, and with the female energy, we do find that we talk a lot more about, you know, our emotional side, and that nurturing side, especially with that bear energy. The bear is like the mama bear, wants to protect and nurture. Okay, so we're really looking at, you know, being nurturing in the near future is going to be quite important for you there, and protecting your emotions. I do feel so. Whatever this meeting is all about, it does feel as though there's an element of, you know, protecting your emotions when we do have this meeting, and trying to come from a more, like, I feel a more logical, just communicative type stance, where we're just clearly stating the facts rather than getting overly emotional or anything like that. So protecting our inner emotional world, protecting our nurturing side at this time, and sort of acting from your own sense of power and strength. You know, the bear does stand in its own power, and it's quite a strong card as well. So don't forget your strengths and your own sense of power as well. Okay, but that's what we've got for you today, Aquarius. So we will move over to Pisces. How are we, Pisces? Just looking today at the next actions you should be taking there, Pisces. I did just have the intuition card jump out, so I just thought I would mention that. Your intuition's probably quite strong at this time, Pisces, but we'll see what comes through. Pisces, next actions, please. Next actions for Pisces. Okay, so we are kind of getting that same intuition kind of vibe coming through with what's coming out there. I'll just grab your lenormand for you. Pisces, next action for Pisces, please. Okay, so we are, like I said, seeing that intuition coming through there, Pisces. We do have the wisdom card, which is followed by growth. And then that was sort of topped off with that guide card as well. So definitely coming from your own sense of wisdom, your own, like I said, intuition's still coming through quite strong there. You know, focusing on your self-growth and your own sense of wisdom within these things that you're growing through at the moment. I do feel being your own guide, in a sense, you know, guiding yourself through this growth, using your own wisdom to do so. I do feel as though that's quite a personal message there, talking about your self-growth, and guiding yourself through the growth, through that growth process with your own wisdom. That's what I keep getting. You know, that guide card is, you know, if you're someone who does rely on things like spirit guides, asking them for a bit of help at this time to help go through this. But really, I keep getting drawn to the idea of relying on your own wisdom. You already know, Pisces. Like I said, that intuition vibe is coming through strong. So really following your own intuition. So you guys are obviously, like I said, you're going to have the wisdom to know exactly what I'm talking about next, because we are seeing the coffin and then the scissors coming through. Okay, so we are seeing the coffin is all about sort of death and rebirth, things needing to end, and the scissors is all about, you know, making a clear cut, you know, cutting something away. So we're looking at the same sort of energy here, needing to close something off, needing to cut something off or someone off. Within our energy at the moment, that needs to be your next action, Pisces, to fully separate yourself from any energy that needs to be closed off within you. So, you know, like I said, I'm feeling that your own wisdom and intuition, you already know exactly what you need to get rid of in your life at this time. There's something in your energy that is not serving your higher self, and you know you need to close the lid on that if you want any new things to come in. That coffin is also about, you know, death and rebirth. So, you know you need to saying that a lot. You know that you need to cut that ending. You need to end that completely and cut it off completely in order to get the new rebirth aspect to open up for you there. And we definitely could be looking at something financial with the fish card coming through. Now, that card, it does talk about Gemini, but it really does talk about Pisces and Aquarius as well. So I really feel as though we're just sort of seeing something that is already in your energy, and you already, Pisces knows the answers, so to speak. The fish already knows which way to swim and what to do. So it's really just trusting your own wisdom and getting that growth happening. Okay. Like I said, it can talk about the financial aspects. It is the abundance card. So, you know, there may be something, it may, for some of you, this may be something that is holding you back financially and needing to cut that out completely so that you can grow into a phase of more abundance. Okay, so I do feel as though, you know, that's going to be a little bit different for everybody within the collective, but you guys are going to know individually already what it is for your particular situation. And then we are seeing that anchor card come through as well. So that's kind of actually a little bit similar to that guide card, okay? Because the anchor here in this aspect, it's kind of talking about, you know, dropping your anchor so that you can survive the storm. You know, the anchor does drop from the ship to hold the ship steady, okay? So really needing to hold yourself steady to weather the next storms. There, Pisces. Not saying that there's any storms coming up, but you know, the energy of cutting something out of your life is a storm within itself, right? But it's talking about, you know, finding what makes you stable and secure and holding on to that energy of being firm and secure in place, okay, so that you don't drift away, and you don't get I want to say drug back into that energy that you're trying to cut out. I do kind of want to say that. So I feel as though this is just talking about standing firmly in place, anchoring yourself firmly when you are making this change. All right, and that's definitely leading to some growth, and you are being guided to do that. Your intuition already knows the answers for you, Pisces, and you know that this next action is necessary for your personal growth. And you know, you already have all the wisdom that you need. You already are your own guide, Pisces, so I don't foresee any dramas with that. But there is some sort of something that does need to get cut out of your life, and you guys know what that's going to be for you. Okay. But let me know in the comments if you do already know directly what that's about. You know, everyone that does comment will go in the draw for that free personal reading. And make sure you subscribe so you can keep updated. But thank you so much for all your time today. I'll see you all again soon.